Call to order the Courthouse and Property Committee. The first thing on the agenda is prayer, and Commissioner Ferris is going to lead us in prayer.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you, Lord, for allowing us to be here. Father, I pray that you would guide us as we go through the business of the county and be with us, Lord, that what we do is for you, Lord, everything that we do. I pray for those that aren't here, aren't able to be here, all those who are sick. Father, I just pray that you would be with them, guide them. Lord, I pray that you would lead, guide, and direct us. All this I ask in Christ's name. Amen.
Everyone's here except for Commissioner Fox. He had a previous engagement and wasn't able to be here. Next on the agenda is the approval of the October 19th Courthouse and Property Committee minutes.
Vote to approve.
Okay, all in favor? Okay. All opposed? All right. Planning and zoning. Chris said, is he in? He's in Portugal, right? Spain. Okay.
He's over there, all right.
Everybody has their reports for September and October. Very close. Next on the agenda is the IT department. And Josh has given you a report. Here he is.
Hello, good afternoon. On our report today are projects that we've come to complete this past month. We've got a list of new projects on the back that we're working on too. This is in addition to any other just basic, these are a lot of upgrades and updates in addition to our normal activities, working help desk tickets and trying to help people through the upgrades. I had no other things to mention on the IT side. If y'all have any questions for me, I'll answer those now. Any questions?
Josh, what would it do to the TV that you took out and added new in the chancery? Do we reuse that somewhere, repurpose it, or?
So the plan is to repurpose it. The Chancery Court room we swapped out the 65-inch, we put an 85-inch. That was at the request of the Chancellor. And so the plan is to remount on the other side of the wall, because there was only one TV at the time, and there we're planning to reutilize that TV in another space in the same room.
Okay.
That's the plan.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Josh?
So at this time, I'd like to introduce our newest member of our IT department. This is Miss Jada Curry. Jada is a community high school graduate, 2019 graduate of community high, and she also is a graduate of the TCAT ITIM program at Tennessee College of Applied Technology. And so this is Jada.
We're glad to have you.
Way to go, Josh.
She's a good one.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, fire department. Mark.
You have my report. I don't have anything to add to the report. As you can see, we're off to a busy year. I will tell you, we had a visit from the State Fire Marshal's office yesterday. And the State Fire Marshal and the Commissioner of Fire came down along with Shane Reeves, Pat Marsh, Jim Tracy, Mayor Graham, come down to say, hey, we recognize your department, you're doing a good job.
Awesome.
Appreciate it. So they all showed up. It was not special. It's the first time I've seen all of them in one house telling us we did a good job. So.
That's awesome.
And they are a big asset to us. So.
They offer any money?
No, I said, let me know if you need anything, you know how that goes.
We should have said,
But I will tell you,
in the mail.
yeah, the fire academy out here, they're real good to us. They are.
I don't know why this just came to my mind, but when is the time of the year that y'all do the smoke alarms?
We do them all year long.
So it's just, there's not just a one time a year that.
Yeah, what people do, they'll call and request them, and we have to fill out a form, because the state provides those now.
Okay.
And we have to send that form to the state once we install them, but they keep us an inventory of about 20. And then once we get down to 5 or So then they'll send us another batch and then we send the paperwork in where we've installed them. So
I just didn't know. if
used
y'all-
to, we just handed them out to
Yeah.
everybody, and you remember years ago, people used to have the
The
barbecue
barbecue.
suppers and stuff to raise
For
money
that
to buy
money,
them,
yeah.
and now the state funds that, and so we install them all year long. And it doesn't matter, you know, as long as they're within Bedford County, it doesn't matter if they're in War Base, or Buffalo Shovel, whatever, all the fire departments do it, so.
That's awesome. Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
Oh, what's the cost on the 911 signs by the mailboxes? Are they still 40?
I think so.
And then second question is those portable fire extinguishers, house fire extinguishers, can they be recharged?
It just depends on what kind they are. If they got a plastic top in them, throw them away.
Okay.
And
Somebody asked me.
depending, I think it's, if they're over 10 years old, I won't put them on.
So if somebody wants one of those 911 signs, the markers with your address or whatever, who do they contact?
They call it wire station,
Okay.
and then we'll make it, and we'll install them as well.
All right, anybody have any other questions for Mark? Okay, 911. I don't believe he's here. Okay, have your report. Any discussion about his report? Okay, and GIS and social media.
I don't have a whole lot to add other than the written report unless anybody has any questions.
Anybody have any questions? Thank you. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve all the reports.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Uh,
All opposed? Okay, we also need to approve, well, I guess that was approved in October, but I don't know why I thought we had another month, I guess we've already done that, haven't we? Okay, that was last month. Okay, and, does anybody have any other old business? We don't have any listed, but. As far as new business, we have two things that I know of. One is the standing committee of membership nominations by December 21st. We've already been told in the last two committee meetings. Just a reminder to any nominations need to be requested by December 21st. And second new business that I know of is I believe Tony wants to speak to us, or Donna, or I believe it's what I was told anyway.
We had a study made, just recently on the precincts on the first floor.
And everybody on the committee has a copy of it here. We have a-
Oh, okay, and that's, I brought copies, so I wanted to make sure y'all did have copies of it. We did meet with the gentleman. Oh, yes. And I did also, because what we are here for is, we were shared, we definitely, I'm gonna back up, we definitely have a noise issue. We have from the very beginning, we have exhausted, Donna and I, just about every effort of just trying and moving. And it's no fault of either one of us. And I'm gonna say too, this period of 2 years has taken that time because I'll speak for myself, and I know that Donna will be in agreement. We are very grateful that we went from a basement to a first floor with windows, and everything about it is just, we recognize those blessings every day in the work environment and how we can better serve our people. But came with that 2 busy offices, and already a first floor that echoed, not only the noise and how it echoes, but crowd control. So we've worked through a lot of logistics in 2 years, but we're both at the point that we can't hear. We can't hear our customers. We hear conversations from the other office. We did get the noise issue, we did get the report, the recommendations. There are, or as you see, the first page is the summary.
Let me just interject, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but let me interject, that really what's created the issue of the noise is when the glass had to go up because of COVID. That, because before we were direct face-to-face with our customers, but once we've had to put up this glass, which we all agree is a necessity, it's really hard to hear our customers through that glass and then with the reverberation, so forth, yeah.
Well,
It's the same
it was,
problem where I
the
live.
noise was
It was
bad,
there, yes.
very bad from the very beginning.
But when you add that glass.
When
it
you
even
add the
compounded.
glass, it does bounce. But from day one, we were yelling on our phones and we were talking loud and Donna's office was talking loud. We were talking louder and I'm not pointing any finger at anybody. We're all trying to hear and answer our phone and do business, but we caught ourselves, even before the glass, trying to talk over the other and hear on the phone. I can't hear on the phone up front. I have to go to my back phone. And we're here like this. It is an issue. It has been. And yes, the glass has even made it worse. I don't know. That's why we're here, because we really need some guidance on how to fix this. I mean, we're two separate offices. We both want to do our best to take care of the people that we serve and to run an efficient office. But somehow or another, we've got to find some way to separate these two offices so we can better serve our customers. I can hear, every day, I can tell you, and I'm gonna back up because until we moved into the first floor of the history of the county clerk, and I'm not saying this toward, we each can run our office and any logistics we choose to better serve. But I've never had marriage license and passports done. They've always been done inside the county clerk's office. Now they're done on the outside. So what we're listening to is someone's mother's maiden name, their social security, their address, their phone numbers. We're hearing this during marriage license. Passports now is done in the commons area in front of my workstation. Sometimes they're there 15, 30, 45 minutes with full families. So I can't work off my front, which I need to. I only have 3 tellers on the front with myself. I'm just giving a little example because we really have exhausted with everything we've tried. We've got the rope that seems to control the crowd control, but nothing is fixing the noise control. So these recommendations.
Yeah, what do you think about these recommendations?
I don't have, because I have 6 to 8 feet apart in my office. So I don't have the noise within my office that I'm dealing with because they're separated. It is the sound coming from the other side. These results, and I mean, they were done, this company specializes, and these recommendations are here
Right.
to what could be done to solve the problem. I don't feel like I need glass behind glass between my bookkeeper because I don't have that type of noise problem. Now, I'm speaking just for my office. For the telephone booth style of separation, my booths are 8 feet apart with that partition, so I don't need that. They spoke of the lobby because our doors have to stay open for ADA compliance because someone in a wheelchair can't open that door. So those doors have to stay open. Now, that recommendation, and I'm saying this, and me and Bob and I both agree when we look at the cost. Like I said, we are very grateful that we have what we've got.
Was this
So-
ever discussed or brought up when y'all were looking at planning?
Yes.
Floor?
Yes, and at one time, and I
So
brought
what
the
was the-
architect from the architect, these are the actual, It was discussed on the front end of having a wall between us. And actually, I'm the one that said a wall, you know, we're both gonna be looking at wall. But now hindsight and knowing the history of that floor anyway, when it was a bank, the best thing that could have happened was a wall.
I know one thing that was brought up about that was security issues. So I don't know, wasn't that correct?
Yeah, I was concerned about security if we have a wall going all the way up, because there's no way to see through. I mean, there's several issues, heat and air flow, if we can get air between the two, if there's a wall there, lighting, ADA compliance, see if people can come in. I mean, if Donna has 3 or 4 people come in their wheelchairs, do we have ways for them to turn around and get back out if we have, I mean, I've seen 40, 50 people at Donna's office, going through all their transactions, so, you know, maybe the wall needs, instead of it being down the middle, maybe it needs to be moved over closer to y'all's area to make sure that we have enough room for all those people. I mean, I don't know how many people on a daily basis you have come in compared to the number of people that I see at Donna's department. I'm in the annex building probably once a day. So we have a certain amount of footage that we have to stay between the transaction wall and if we build a partition for people to be able to move around in wheelchairs. That's a requirement.
I don't think you're gonna have 2 or 3 wheelchairs at one time in there.
It's not if we do,
No,
they
it's
don't
like
go
they
if you do,
comply.
they say it doesn't matter if
It's a
everybody
requirement.
comes there in a wheelchair, they have to be able to move around. So we have a standard that we have to meet. My other concern is what that cost is, we just approved the budget, and we're already coming back asking for something. I just think it needs to be studied more. I mean, I just got this report 5 minutes ago, so I would like to talk to them. I wanna talk to Bart Klein and ask him if they've dealt with this and other, but.
Well, I had asked, the mayor what, if they had any costs, you know, estimates of what this would cost, and he said no. So he said he can definitely go ask for that, so I think that definitely needs to be done for, you know, for us to consider.
Well, that's why we're coming before you.
Right.
I mean, y'all take time to look at the recommendations, the results, and it may not be a wall all the way to the ceiling. It could be a wall 3/4 with those panels that absorbs the sound, you know.
Donna, how many people a day come through do you think come through your part?
Every day is a different day, just as Donna's office. At the end of the month and the first of the month, it can get backed up. There's days that it's crickets on both sides. There's no traffic. Now, I'm not saying she may not do 100 transactions, but it's not 100 bodies in there. Now, it is full at the first and end of the month, and they do a very good job of moving them. But the problem is, now the rope's back up now, so they're actually dividing. The rope just went back up. The problem, and we're here about the noise, but we've had with crowd, because for some reason, they automatically want to come in and come to the right side. So they're all over the front of my tellers. So my first teller basically is the receptionist from trying to move them over. So it's that with the roping seems to divide, and that's been better, even though they still circle. You know, it's not a nitpick, it's what can solve the noise where we can hear. We cannot hear. My elderly, my tax relief, I have disabled on my tax relief, I have veterans. They're screaming, I can't hear you. They tell me I can hear everything that person behind me, which is a customer to the Donna's office, I can hear everything they say. I can't hear you.
Is there a private area you can pull people into if they can't hear? Like a separate room you can just pull them to? Like if it's something that, you know.
Well, I mean, that would
really
be the same thing, yeah, I could, just like marriage license and passports, you could pull them in there.
Let me clarify that marriage license and passports have always been done at the window since I've been in office. And I'm assuming before I came in office, because I didn't change that. Now, Ronette used to bring people inside the office and do some of that. But when COVID came along, we had to change our protocol. for a lot of that, and we can't just have a constant stream of the public in there with our employees. That was the whole point of putting up the windows, and it
I
sort of
don't think we're
negates
gonna
that.
solve it tonight. I think we just need to put together a study group and see several factors, security, whether the utilities will work, what we have in place, what the cost is gonna be.
Well, and there
If
were,
there's any alternatives that we can come up with.
well, there were several recommendations that engineer made. You know, he didn't come in and say, we'll put a wall up. I mean, there were several recommendations and how costly they were. And one of them, and I think Tanya and I both agreed, was come in and build a wall down the center of your office space. Well, neither one of us thought that was a viable, solution. But there were some other suggestions that they made. Now, how costly they are, I don't know.
And that's why we, 2 years, have tried to exhaust every effort of trying to, and actually, the glass helped on one part of it, except for the little microphone thing. And I took mine apart and took the port out and turned it like a waffle, and we can hear better. It's the way it echoes. And I mean, it echoes right over that glass, it does.
Well, any hard surface is gonna make it echo.
Yeah.
Well, I know we have it at my work. When COVID hit, we put it up in the glass. And we've had a little trouble hearing too. They ended up coming back and making little holes for like and you can hear a little bit better. But even that, we have a really tall ceiling. It's very difficult for us to hear too, but we just make do. But
And I hate having to sit here and discuss this because I don't want to see any more costs for the county. I know there's a lot of things, a lot of projects and the like going on, but we have to conduct county business. I move thousands, millions of dollars a day. I've got to hear routing, I've got to hear, finance is joined at my hip, or is payroll, Board of Education, I could go on and on. My office is not just tax collection, it is the county banking. Everything comes through there. I've got to be able to hear and talk on the telephone.
did they talk at all? I haven't had a chance to look at this really good. Have they talked at all about like modifications for the telephones too? Because I know there's things they can do for that.
When they talked about microphones to magnify it, but when it echoes bad enough and then you magnify it,
Yeah, I'm talking about the phone
phone.
system, to make it where you can hear clearly. Because I know they've got there's a lot of, for example, I have patients for assistive technology, they can make it louder. There's different ways they can do that on phones.
Well, they can do curtains on the ceilings, they can change the floor, there's a lot of
You can
things they
increase
can
the
do. We just need to, we're not gonna solve it right now, so. we just
No,
need
we're
to-
not. So what's the wishes of the committee?
I'll serve on it. I'll call the architect,
Okay,
get some other
you want to do some
solutions.
research on it and defer it to next month?
Yeah.
Somebody make a motion.
Yes, I'll make that motion. Second.
Okay, all in favor? Did you get that? Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Does anybody else have any other announcements, any new business? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn then.
You brought the-